Hello, welcome to Oxford Heirlooms. This is an introduction to project number 5, which is going to be creating the Laura Day gown from the Children's Corner pattern, hand sewing 2. Now this is what the pattern envelope looks like. Okay, it says Children's Corner up at the top and hand sewing 2 down at the bottom. And this is the Laura version. Okay, now I've made a little sketch of the gown and bonnet that I intend to make. So the gown will have smocking at the top front bodice on both sides of the button placket. It will also have some smocking on the back of the garment. It's going to have some little gathered puff sleeve with white laces and some entredeaux rather than beading. The smocking will be pink. The gown will be made out of pink Swiss batiste. And the little bonnet is once again going to be a little teacup bonnet. But in the last project, project number 4, I created a teacup bonnet with some pin tucks. This time I'm going to do some hand embroidery. Okay. Now the materials list, or let me go back to the patterns again. Okay, so the pattern for the day gown is the Laura version from Children's Corner Hand Sewing 2. The guide, or pattern for lack of a better word, that I use for making teacup bonnets comes from the book by Sarah Howard Stone, French Hand Sewing for Infants. And this is the teacup that she gives a guide for the dimensions for making an infant bonnet. Okay, now the materials list. I've got my materials laid out here, but I will put this up as a slide at the end of the video so that you can pause the video and take a screenshot. But let me go over my materials list. Okay, I've got 1 5/8 yards of Swiss batiste. I've got 7 yards of 1/2 inch French edging. I've got 1 1/4 yard of 1/2 inch French insertion lace. I've got 7 1/4 inch pearl buttons. I got about 4 yards of Swiss entredeaux. I've got 1 3/4 yard of 1/4 inch silk ribbon, 1 yard of 5/8 silk ribbon, and some embroidery floss. Okay, now and then a couple of other things that I have that you'll need to have handy. I'm going to be using some pink Metler thread to match the fabric. I order these large spools of white thread because I go through so much white thread that having the small spools, to be real honest, it just kind of annoys me that I run out of thread all the time. But I will put a link down below for ordering these large spools of white and beige ecru thread that I use. Okay, now the embroidery floss I'm going to be using for the smocking is number 818, and this is DMC floss. A couple of other things that I'm going to be using. You need to have a fabric marking pen that's water soluble. Those are available, I think, at all of the big box stores. And I'll also be using my specialty scissors to trim away entredeaux as I work on the project. So I will include a link for the white and ecru thread and the specialty scissors down below in the video description. So once again, here's the materials list for a Laura Day gown and a bonnet to go with it. You need 1 5/8 inch of Swiss batiste, 7 yards of 1/2 inch French edging, 1 1/4 yard of 1/2 inch French insertion. And by the way, these 2 laces, I selected them from the same lace family so they coordinate with one another. You'll need 7 1/4 inch pearl buttons. And I'll kind of make a comment. When I make newborn infant garments, I like to use 1/4 inch buttons rather than 3/8 inch buttons because the tiny little buttons are just a nice detail. About 4 yards of Swiss entredeaux, 1 3/4 yard of 1/4 inch silk ribbon, 1 yard of 5/8 inch silk ribbon, and you'll need some embroidery floss to blend with your Swiss batiste. Okay, so that is an introduction to project number 5, creating a day gown in Bonnet using the Laura pattern from Children's Corner. So, sew along with me. Thank you.